So just a couple of days ago, we got an exclusive interview and gameplay footage from IGN. Basically, they went over 4 main details and elaborated on them throughout the video. The first one dealt with why Sackboy Big Adventure will run at a locked 60 FPS. Right off the bat, Sumo emphasizes how important player controls and responsive character are to them and use that as their primary reasoning. The most interesting part though, isn't the why, but the how. They say that they use dynamic resolution to keep it locked at that frame rate at all times. While we don't know how far the resolution change can go, and if they were specifically referring to the PS4 build or not, it is at least intriguing to know. Whether or not this will be noticeable by any means is yet to be seen. I can, however, say in full confidence that it will not have a major impact on the game. On the topic of frame rates, I am very glad that they chose to prioritize frame rate over resolution in this instance, as 30 to 60 FPS is painfully noticeable, and as the game looks to feature some action-intensive scenes where frame rate is especially important, they made the right choice. The next category is by far the most important in my opinion, and that is difficulty. The Little Big Planet games had a great balance when it came to difficulty. Some sections were particularly difficult, but for the most part, it was never too difficult. So to hear the approach Sumo went with Sackboy Big Adventure is quite eye-opening to their development philosophy as a whole. Essentially, it sounds like a Big Adventure will lean towards the easy side of things. And funnily enough, despite being one of my favorite genres of gaming, I absolutely suck at 3D platformers, so I heavily doubt that this will be an issue for me, but that doesn't mean it won't be a massive issue for most people, especially since Little Big Planet fans have grown up over the years. Sumo understood this, and instead of adding a hard mode, which I personally feel would have been best, they opted for a much more, shall we say, unconventional approach. Yet again, they emphasize that Sackboy himself has a wide array of moves, and mastery of those moves is basically this game's hard mode. The main campaign can be beaten with only a subset of those moves, but full completion requires mastery of all moves. Now what is completion? They define it as setting all the high scores, finding all the secrets, mastering all the levels, beating the post-game, and platining the game. There's a lot of information to digest here. First of all, getting high scores is nothing new and has been around with the LBP campaigns from the get-go, so it's nice to see them continuing forth on that path. This will also help with replayability, what I believe to be as one of the most important aspects of the Little Big Planet games and why they are so special. Next up are secrets, which translates to me as collectibles. We've already seen them use collectibles in the PS5 video, so this comes as nothing new. The biggest part though is beat the post-game. Okay, so real quick, master all the levels to me just means the ability to get all the collectibles and not die or whatever. But beat the post-game? What is this game's post-game? Will it be extra levels, extra worlds, something akin to 3D Worlds post-game? Maybe difficulty-focused challenge levels that are meant to be exceptionally hard? Who knows? It's exciting that they mention it here, and at the very least, we do know that it's centered around difficulty, otherwise they wouldn't mention it here. And of course, Platinum the game is a combination of every other topic they mentioned. Overall, the way Sumo Digital is tackling difficulty in Sackboy Big Adventure is definitely promising, and right after that, just when you think they're done, they point to the Knitted Night Trials as especially challenging sections. They describe them as arcadey, one-life, fast-paced, little snippets of gameplay with a major focus on getting to the end as quickly as possible. This both addresses my concern about replayability, somewhat, and raises discussion about what these trials unlock. Because if they call them trials, which means that they are tests, and if you pass the tests, what do you get? I am fairly confident that you will be crowned a knitted knight and some cool stuff will happen. That's my hope at least. Now the third topic deals with the game being cross-gen, or specifically how PS4 players will not be disappointed if they decide to purchase the game on that platform. They briefly mention how important it was for the team that this functioned great on the PlayStation 4, so as many people as possible would get the chance to play it. I believe that playing Sackboy Big Adventure on PS4 will work great, and I would be even more confident of that fact if Sony would release a gameplay comparison video to make it crystal clear to consumers. I won't dwell on this too much longer as I don't have anything else to say here, but rest assured, if you're buying on PS4, it'll be a very comparable and comparable experience, also at 60 FPS by the way. The final category, and kind of a throwaway category to be honest, is about the game's humor. I only say this because it doesn't really offer much new information besides an extended look at some different moves in the game, different emotes that the player can do, and some cool looking avatars. that's basically it in terms of this interview from IGN. It gave us a ton of new information in a rapid-fire format, and even though I keep saying this, made me just that much more excited to play this game.